Some of these clowns talk about it, but see, I lived it. When that cell door opens, the talking's over. Ain't no guns, ain't no drive-bys. Get your knife. Straight hand-to-hand combat. Peace, blessings, and salutations. My name is Yurima Karama, here again with another segment of Voices from Behind the Wall. Today, I wanted to go into some of the issues as far as family members that have to deal with people who are incarcerated, some of the turmoil and things that they have to go through on a daily basis. I know a lot of times we hear about the prosecutors, and they're always talking about how bad the person is and this, that, and the other. And then you hear from, sometimes even the victims, you hear from the judges, you hear about from the guards, how deviant these individuals are, usually people of color, but we rarely hear from the family members of the incarcerated individual. So today I wanted to talk to one of those members. This is a beautiful queen. We've been knowing each other for a few years now, and she's not only an extraordinary mother, having to raise basically children by herself, but she's also a phenomenal businesswoman and a phenomenal poet. So I want to introduce Carla Howard Daniels. We know her in the industry as Sugar Brown, and just kind of wanted to have you touch on, of course, talk about your career and how you've come, because I think it's important for our viewers to realize that even after your ex was incarcerated for a period of time, which I want you to talk about that too, but I want you to talk about the building process, what you had to go through upon that, and the detriment that it had not only on yourself, but your children, and how you had to kind of rebuild.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for having me today.
Yeah.
I'm glad to be able to talk about this. I was a 17-year-old teenage mother and had just graduated high school, had turned 18, and my boyfriend then at the time, son of my son's father, was incarcerated on 14 counts, felony charges. And he had been in trouble previously. Mm-hmm. He wasn't a bad guy. He was a lot of times the wrong place at the wrong time, hanging with the wrong crowd, getting involved in, small town crime activities. Well, this particular occasion, he had gotten in trouble for having a gun and going around with some guys that had done some shootings and some robberies. Didn't injure anyone, but he was sentenced for a period of 22, 23 years. Being a teenage mom, of course, I was going to be by myself in terms of raising our son. It got to the point with the visitations, he asked me not to bring my son to the jail anymore, just because he didn't want to influence him and have him see him in that situation. My son at the time was less than 2 years old. I remember the winter putting a snowsuit on him to take him down on these visits, and knowing that he would have a lifelong relationship with his father only through jail. It was very difficult because I had planned a life with this person. Again, being very young, 18, really just getting started with my life, having this young child. And then even with him not having adequate support system to, be able to have a good lawyer, a paid lawyer, someone to advocate and fight for him. I recall when he went to court, that even the public defender, when saying his name, didn't even have his name right, and had the file right there before him and had to read out of the file because he hadn't taken the time to get to know the case and become familiar.
Right.
One of the things also I recall is that the judge was up for an election that year and had made the point to say that he was going to set an example and make an example out of him. And so he got the maximum years possible that he would have got for the sentencing. So.
Okay. Just off the cuff, because we know that young men, and I have to stress this because our communities, and I know people, I have to hit on the race issue because we live in such a racially uh, 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 motivated society. Everything is motivated by race, and so I have to hit on those points that our two communities are not always policed the same, and so I say that to say that young people make mistakes. Young people make bad decisions. That's a part of life. That's how we grow. That's how you learn to make good decisions, by making bad decisions. And okay, I shouldn't do that. The problem that I see comes in is that the communities aren't policed the same. So Jimmy in the white community, his poor decision is looked on much differently than Daryl in the black community, and it just is. Daryl, he doesn't get those same chances to go to therapy or those same chances to get it right. His destination is automatically prison or juvenile detention. So, I guess the question I want to pose to you is that, and I mean, you mentioned some things that are basically the norm.
Right.
Public defender who has no idea because his caseload is so big and he has so many people on his case. He's basically looking for a paycheck.
Right.
So he doesn't even know the name of the person, even with the file in front of him. The judge who's up for reelection, so he's on the we're going to get tough on crime thing. And all these factors, and of course a prosecutor who's like, he's trying to keep his position. He doesn't care about this person. He doesn't even see a human being. He just sees a number. So it's another notch up under his belt as far as conviction rate. So when when he's up for election, he can say, well, I convicted this many people on my watch. So I guess my question to you, Sugar Brown, Carla, is, in the event, let's hypothetically, for the sense of saying that say they have it right, and that made some poor decisions, committed some crimes. In your mind, what kind of time would that look like?
I would say no more than 10 years because no one was injured. There was not injured in the sense of a physical injury. There wasn't, although he had the gun, he didn't shoot anyone. There wasn't anyone that lost their life, limb, or, was maimed or disabled, anything like that. And it wasn't that the victims, that he robbed or attempted to rob, or even as it later came out that he was just an accomplice there, that he wasn't even the main person committing the crimes. Even when that came out and there was a white man or a white young guy that was with them, he saw 2 years. 2 years and out, and all the brunt of it was placed on him. And so to me, that looks like maybe 10 years maximum. That looks like putting you in a program. That looks like giving you job skills so you have a job and you don't feel the need to take something from someone else. It looks like rehabilitation and support systems and steps to take you from, if this is all you know and this is the environment and element you live in, let's give you something different and then see what you do. And then if you become a repeat offender, okay, maybe we add more time to this, because the only things he had prior to that was a juvenile type of thing. And, it wasn't anything big there. It was just, simple things then. So it's like, if this is what you grow up in and this is what you know, how do you expect someone to do something differently unless you take them out of that environment, give them the support system, give them the education, give them the tools and the means to be able to do something different, and then see how they flourish and go from there. That's what it looks like to me.
Okay. And I'm in total agreement with everything you just said. With that said, how long has he been incarcerated?
This fall will be 21 years.
And he's still locked up?
He's still locked up. His first parole will be in December of this year. He's been locked up since June of 1993.
So he went in at 20. What, 20, 21?
He was 20.
20?
Yes.
And he's 43 now, about 43, 42.
He'll be 43 in December.
And so this is my purpose, and my purpose for a lot of the video footage that I do is to shed light on this. In no way do I ever want to glorify, and I don't think that I come across as glorifying crime or glorifying prison. My whole point is that the amount of time is ridiculous. It's utterly ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
A matter of fact, it's insanity. It's insanity at its worst, especially when you have a young white guy who's on the same case who got 2 years and walked, and you have a young black man who is still serving time from that same crime, and he's up for parole, and there's no guarantee that on his parole
Right.
hearing he's going to get out.
Right.
So Carla, I talk a little about the effect that had on raising a young male child, some of the obstacles that you had to face, and where you're at now. I want to
Okay.
I want the viewers to know, because as a young black woman, you had to go, and you were 17 at the time, so you had to go through obstacles raising a young black male, but you've persevered and have
Right.
gone over mountains, and the business savvy and the road that
Right.
you're on now is like magnificent. So go into some of that.
Okay. Like I said, I was 17 when I had him, and I turned 18 a little bit after that. I was still in school, had just graduated around the time he got in trouble. He had actually been enrolled in a Job Corps program in Chicago and had came home and visited. And so it was on this furlough visit that he actually got in trouble. So it was in June 1993, and I had just graduated. He had came and visited. And like I said, he got in trouble while he was home. So I had to look forward to, you know, our son wasn't even 2 yet, so it's like, what do I tell him? When he's looking for his dad, when he's looking for his father. He had just learned how to say daddy, dada, so even to build a relationship with the remainder family, when his father was the connection to the remainder of the family.
Wow.
With taking him out as that middle piece, there wasn't really anybody else that was just going to step up from his family, to get to embrace and help me be able to raise him.
Right.
And then I was raised by my mother. That was a single mother. So again, there wasn't even a grandfather steady in the picture to be able to,
Right.
assist with that. And then with the incarceration, seeing him watch his mother passed away while he was incarcerated. His father passed away. Everyone that was close to him passed away while he was incarcerated. So one of the biggest gifts that he gave to me, though, he said, I don't want you to wait for me. I want you to find you a good man. I want you to find someone that's going to help raise our son. And he was willing to be accepting of that. So sometime after that, I did move on, and enter another relationship and got married after that. And
Okay.
that person did embrace my son and raise him and help support, whether it was phone calls, letters, whatever it was coming in.
Nice.
Just helped facilitate that relationship between the two of them. I was real supportive of that, because at any given time, a black person American, you don't know when it's going to be you behind those bars. And you want to be able to be sure that whoever, whatever goes around comes around. So, if someone's helped raising your child, keep that door open, keep the communication open, support that person. And, it's not like he was taking something from him, because he gave me his blessings and said, you're young, you're beautiful, you're intelligent, move on and do something,
Right.
And then just always keeping that with me, it made me fight harder to show my son something different.
Nice.
So, I of course, I had graduated. I went on to co-own a hair salon, because at the time I was a licensed beautician. So by the time I was 19, 20, I was co-owning a hair salon.
Nice.
I wasn't satisfied with that. I went back to school, became a nurse. Wasn't satisfied with just that. Started my own business where, I host poetry events, open mics, things of that sort, and continue to press on that road. Back in school again to get my bachelor's in nursing, and, just I have 3 other children since him.
Okay.
And so the big brother, he's a role model. He's supportive of his younger siblings, and developed a relationship with, my husband that I had married. And it turned out good. And matter of fact, it was a little joke that my ex and I used to have. And he'd say, guess what? And that was always code word for, you love me, I love you. And, we always think about love has to be this romantic love, but it's not. It's just sometimes I'm glad to see you're doing good. I embrace your life and who you've been in my life. And so, now the way that they communicate is different because, inmates can email and
Right.
do video chats and all these different things. And I remember my hands cramping up. Baby, I love
Right.
you. I miss you. This is what he's doing. He's learning how to walk, and doing all those kind of things.
Right.
And so the other day he emailed my son because they're still in contact and my son is anticipating, his hopefully eventual release.
Nice.
And he said, yeah, tell your mom I said, guess what? Whatever.
Right.
But just to know that he still thinks of me as a favorable person and obviously has conveyed that he's proud of me and what I continue to, push and go on and doing. Because a lot of young sisters having a baby at 17, 18 can
Right.
throw in the towel and give up, and just
Right.
be done. And if not for the support system I had with my mother, raising me and helping me, then I probably would have done the same thing. So.
Well, in the flip side too is I commend you. Salute to that brother too for his maturity, but I commend you as well because a lot of some women, I won't say a lot because we don't have a measure on the numbers, but some women will totally like turn the child against the father,
Right.
and there's nothing that the father can really do because
Right.
you can't be there because you're confined behind
Right.
walls. So just you allowing that avenue to stay open, and then meeting a man that allowed that, had no problem with that too.
Mm-hmm.
It's a blessing all the way around. Trust me, brothers locked up are thankful for women like you that allow that, because they really do want to have relationships with their children. They really do. And especially after incarceration, because then it gives them time to really think and go internal.
Right.
And realize the mistakes that they made, some of the
Right.
things that they took for granted as far as, the helping in the raising of the child. And so I thank you for that. Is there any closing things that you would like to say?
Just in closing, that if someone has a loved one that is incarcerated, be that support system for them, be that bond, whether it's, writing them, just keeping them connected to the outside world and not turning your back, and just, being that support system. Because although he and I didn't maintain that boyfriend-girlfriend relationship, he knew I had his back. He asked me to look up something, I'm going to look it up.
Right.
I had the phone bills from the collect calls and,
Right.
just writing a letter. Hey, how are you? Thought about you today. Hope you're doing okay. Just keep your head up,
Oh,
So,
those things help.
something like
Those
that.
things help. So, Voices from Behind the Wall, we're with Carla Howard Daniels, better known as Sugar Brown. And do you have any links or anything that you would like to share where people can find
They
you?
can find me on Facebook under Carla Howard Daniels Sugar Brown. I have a Sugar Kissed page, which is the title of my book. Sugar Kissed came out in 2012.
Yes.
And also M&S Dream Chaser Productions, LLC, which I'm the co-CEO of.
Okay. So, peace, blessings, salutations. Thank you again for all the people who've shown their support. I thank you so much. The appreciation, and appreciation to the haters too. I get these comments, and it's like I laugh, and then sometimes I respond. And if I don't respond in kind, well, that's just who I am. So again, thank you for the support. Thank you for your continued viewing. We will have a new segment coming out as well that we're working on called Real Life with Real Talk. So you should be looking forward to that. Peace, blessings, and salutations. One.
Testament, I'm on one. Give you the treatment, represent to a further extent. It's the first volume of my testament. My testament.